How's it going, guys? Today I am with Abby, one of the most interesting Filipinas that I've met here. She really is a little bit like me, kind of straddling two different cultures. She's a Filipina, running businesses, working with Filipinos, and dealing a lot with expats, foreigners in business. Let's talk. So Abby, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's really nice to be featured in your YouTube channel.
Thank you so much. So we met first through CNG Consulting. Those of you on the channel have seen Heidi. What do you do with them?
Basically, I started last November, so
Okay.
actually it's my work anniversary last month, November 22. I met Heidi in Trademark, so just having fun with life, party and all that. And she's amazing. She's really amazing. So I started as a sales and marketing officer. Basically, I manage the social media pages because that's my expertise, and also connecting her with our clients and also partners right now like John, YouTubers all over the Philippines to disseminate information about Philippine visas and business registrations.
Very good. But the more I met you, I've seen there's so much more that you have going on. You're also very entrepreneurial yourself. So tell me more about the types of things that you've been involved with over the years.
Yeah, so basically when I started working since I was 16. So I've been selling online. I'm part Chinese, so the business is in my blood and everything. I've been selling shoes online since I was 16 because I've been supporting myself since I was 16. I moved out of the house. It's not very common for Filipinas to move out of the house. And then at age 18, high school, we have senior high school, I entered the BPO industry as a call center agent. But I only lasted for 11 days.
Right.
Yeah, 11 days because I don't like the culture of working graveyard shift, like starting from like 7 p.m. and then going home at like 6 a.m. I have like 11-hour shift.
Right.
So it's really crazy, like 11-hour shift. And then, I don't have much sleep. So I said to myself, I could do corporate job.
Now, so let's back up just a sec. So you said you left early, and that is really unusual.
Very unusual.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing why was that? I mean, most Filipinos, they're going to be happy to live with family in their 30s if they're single.
Yeah.
Why'd you leave so early, if you don't mind me saying?
So actually, my family is really very big. Like my mom's side, they have 7 siblings. My father's side, 6 siblings. So it's a very tight-knit family. We live in a compound, but Davao City is so big.
And you're from Davao.
I'm from Davao City.
Davao
and
represent,
John loves Davao. So I live like an hour away from Davao without traffic. 2 hours away if there's like traffic. It's very far from the city center.
Yeah, Davao is such a big spread out area. We're in Cebu City now. I love Cebu as well, but my heart's going a little bit over there towards Davao, even though I'm in Cebu City every month as well with work. But yeah, very big area.
Very big area. And it's really family-oriented place. Like people will ask you what's your surname and all that, but yeah, it's very family-oriented. It's unusual for a Filipina to move out of their place without getting married. So I came from a suburban, but I passed in senior high school at Ateneo de Davao. So it's located in the city center. And I cannot travel all the time, every day, 1 hour travel, 2 hours travel from going there and back and forth.
Sure.
So I convinced my mom and my dad to live in the city area, like, rent a room there.
Sure.
So it's very near, just walking distance to the school. And that's when I convinced them, but I need to go home every weekend or they will visit me from time to time. So I'm still, under the supervision of my parents. So that's what happened.
But so from, you said 16, you're living in your own place in the city. So even in Western cultures, that would be pretty unusual, but it's kind of hard to put in words how unusual that would be.
Yeah, but I just convinced them, like really convinced. I have convincing powers. I can persuade people.
All right. I've been warned. So you went to school, and then what about after school? Is that when you started working in a BPO?
Yeah, so what happened is, 2 years of senior high school. I'm the first batch of senior high school in the Philippines, 16 to 18, and then graduated. I took exams for universities in UST, UP, so the big universities in the Philippines. We call it the Big Four. So UST, La Salle, Ateneo, and I forgot the other, UP.
Yeah.
UP.
University of the Philippines.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I took all the exams. I passed all the exams. I passed in UP Cebu because the UP system, it has 8 campuses all over the Philippines.
Mhm.
And depends on the degree program that I will pass, that's where I will go.
Okay.
So I passed the psychology and Cebu City. And so I went here without support from my family.
Right.
Because again, they don't want a Filipina to go out of the house or settle somewhere.
Sure.
But yeah, I went here with only 6,000 pesos under
Right.
my name.
All right.
I knew no one,
Yeah.
no friends, no family here. So I went here it's like, okay, I'm going to be a self-made rich. I'm going to make it.
All right. There you go.
I'm planning it. So yes, university started and I lived in the university dorms.
Mhm.
We have no tuition because it's a state university.
Oh, nice.
So as long as we pass the exam, it's okay.
Sure.
Because I
So
also
were you
have,
working student or?
yes,
Okay.
I'm a working student. So I've been juggling during the time academic, gigs like writing, kind of unethical, but yeah, writing papers. But I'm also a journalist.
Sure.
Yeah.
The truth comes out. Hopefully nobody from UP is watching right now.
Yeah, I've been
All right.
doing presentations, assignments, the
Mhm.
usual mini gigs of a student trying to get by every day. But I write for newspapers like Rappler, Manila Bulletin, 1
Okay.
peso per word.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm a writer for a
Yeah.
few years, 6,
Yeah.
7 years.
Okay.
So that's how I got by college,
Yeah.
university.
And even being a working student is, I've met a lot of, people in the Philippines and, especially with job interviews, and I'll say, did you go to college?
Mm.
And often they'll say, I did, but I had to drop out because of no money.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, why don't you just work? I mean, for me, I put myself through college. Nobody helped me. I had 3 sons born during when I was going to college. I just didn't sleep for 4 years. Well, 5 years, But why do you think that's also so uncommon in the Philippines to be a working student?
I mean, it's very common.
No, to me, it's very uncommon. I
Uncommon.
don't meet many working students. You?
I mean, I meet a lot actually.
Okay.
It really depends maybe on the school in a way. For example,
Sure.
if I'm put in a high-end school like Ateneo, because
Mhm.
it's like a Catholic school where all the rich kids go,
Right.
you would see very few working students.
All right.
Very few.
So maybe I'm meeting some of the rich
Yes,
kids.
maybe.
They were spoiled and they didn't want to have to work and go to school.
Yeah,
at the same
because
time.
the family will sponsor them. And it's also
Okay.
a common thing that the parents will sponsor the child's education. But for me, with the environment that I have in the state university, all of us are from provinces,
Sure.
suburbans. And we got into this school because of the exams. So we don't have anyone that will sponsor us. It's us that will sponsor ourselves.
Right.
So most of us have works.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very common thing for us actually.
I got it.
Yeah.
So, even when you were writing papers for others, I mean, it's already kind of being entrepreneurial, figuring out how to pay the bills. But when did you start your first business?
Yeah, so actually when during the pandemic, so it's
Mhm.
December 2019 to early 2020, everything stopped.
Right.
We don't have classes for months,
Mhm.
3 to 5 months, not doing anything. I can't go home to Davao because during that time, Philippines has a
Yeah.
very
Very strict. I was here.
very
Yeah.
strict. We're not allowed to go out. We're not allowed to fly, to travel, everything. We have face shields.
Even we're in Cebu City, just to go to Mandaue City, which is like neighboring city.
No.
You couldn't even
We
cross.
can't. We
Yeah.
can't. Only medical professionals can cross. So I was stuck in the university dormitory
Mhm.
with no scholarship because the company cannot sponsor me anymore.
Right.
My mom cannot give me allowance. So basically, I was stuck in the university dormitory and we are only living with the donations from the professors, from the people, because it's a state university. So people supports the state university. So it's okay. But I cannot live with just donations. So I said, I'm going to find a work, online work. And that's when I found about freelancing,
Mhm.
working with clients in US, Australia, because everyone's transitioning online.
Right.
All businesses transitioning online. If you have a physical business during pandemic, it's a no-go.
Yeah.
There's no profit in there. Everyone's going to deliver foods already, so everything's online. So I started as an operations manager. So I'm still an employee by then, but the potential is limitless. Like leveraging the currency difference, earning in dollars, living in pesos, it's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, like 1 year of growing that agency with the CEO, I'm still an employee, I made a decision to have my own agency.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the start. Being exposed to this kind of setup. Oh, I don't really need to finish college to start a business.
Yeah.
Because the CEO during that time is a schoolmate of mine from Davao.
Mm-hmm.
She's only 19 when she started the business.
And you were how old at the time?
We're the same age.
Okay.
19. Yeah, so that's
amazing.
Yeah.
And you're how old now, if you don't mind me asking?
24. 5 years
Baby!
back.
Alright.
When people confuse my age, I take it as a compliment though. Yeah, when they...
I'm about 24 too. I'm 25 times 2. So we're pretty close in age. Alright.
But yeah.
So that was your first really business
Yeah.
experience to start your agency there. How did you get new clients?
We look for clients in Facebook, LinkedIn, Upwork, and online jobs. So there are a lot of platforms out there, actually
Yeah.
Fiverr, all those things, but I just prefer LinkedIn, Upwork, online jobs, those 3. Very powerful platforms. Yes.
Yeah. Very good. So you were at that agency doing that for about how long?
The first agency where I'm operations manager, I was there for 1 year and 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it ended because the CEO wants to do another business, Business people have crazy ideas they want to attend to. It's okay.
Mm.
I don't understand that before, but I understand it now because I have many things going on too.
Yeah.
Right.
So I want to talk about your coaching, some other stuff you're doing now. And then I also really want to talk about, what it's like kind of living one foot in Philippines culture, one in, Western or foreigner culture.
Mm.
What else are you doing now? I know that you're helping people that want to start their own business, doing coaching. Tell us more about the other types of things you're involved with.
So basically, aside from the first time we met John, it's actually the visa consultancy. So we help expats stay in the Philippines, like permanent residency, long-term visas, or business registration, government compliance. So I've been really working a lot with foreigners already for the past year. And then the other one, the full-time thing that I do is coaching. So I coach ordinary Filipinos, whether you're a student, a mom, or whatever you do. If you want to just spend at least 2 hours of your day working with clients internationally and then hiring Filipinos, basically you're like a matchmaker. So we're teaching Filipinos to be entrepreneurial, to become managers of people who need jobs, but paying them decently, like above the regular rates in the Philippines.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's what I do because I've built 4 agencies already in my 5 years career in the online industry. So that experience, I'm picking it all up, the trial and error, the failures, the rejections. I've been trying to tell that to my students and what they could do and not do. So
Sure.
yeah, coaching full-time, and I have my own agency too. So I'm the sole proprietor of my own agency. I have 5 major clients, all recurring monthly paying me. They're from Canada, US, and Australia. So yeah, 3 things right now.
Very, very impressive. So Abby and I are doing a lot of the same things. I've had an agency in California for 15 years, BPO here. We've been in a lot of the same industry. I'm kind of coming at it from a foreigner into Philippines culture. You're coming at things from a Filipino working with foreigner culture. I want to ask you, first on the Philippine side, because I got to say, when I first moved to the Philippines, I brought really my, American, California leadership style, management style, and that worked very well for me in the U.S. I loved my team there. We had close working relationships. I never fired one person in the U.S. in 15 years, and even those that moved on were still friends and very great working experience in the U.S., but it's my culture. I kind of know what it takes to lead and manage effectively here. I brought that same kind of style of leadership and management to the Philippines, and it's been a disaster. Probably the first 2 years that I was here was, if I had any hair left, I would have probably lost it again. Just, I had wonderful employees, and I had whatever the opposite of that is. And I think part of it is I had to look myself in the mirror and not just put the blame on others, but really look at myself and say, what do I need to do as, a boss to lead and manage in a way that will bring out the best in people. I feel like as a business owner, a CEO, really my number one job in terms of internally is to really free people to do the best job that they can. And so I'm
Yes.
so blessed when I have, wonderful employees that come and they do a great job, like the camera lady Spain behind us. Everything's so easy and I'm so impressed with their work.
Mm.
But also I really have to think about how do I bring out the best in people that, maybe who I am and my leadership style is going to bring out the worst.
Mm.
So what about you? How have you overcome the challenges first of working with Filipinos? Has that come easy? Or have you had any challenges?
So what I really, my goal is really to hire slow and fire fast.
Yeah.
That really works here in the Philippines. So whenever I look for like a contractor in the Philippines, an employee, I have like tedious processes to pre-screen them properly,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time make it easy and meaningful for them. So what I do when they send their resumes and CVs, that's the first line of screening.
Yeah.
If their work experiences is aligned with the job.
Mhm.
Because I won't let them take the exams, all these interviews, this, that, if in the first place their work experience is not related to the job. So if they qualified for the initial screening, that's when I do lots of tests, personality tests, all this, that. And basically, it's a long process, but it's very meaningful because once you get the best person for the job,
Mhm.
you can already trust this person to do a lot of things for your clients. So,
Sure.
yeah, that's really good. But there's another challenge. Let's say this person is very qualified, but there are a lot of what we say toxic Filipino work behaviors.
Mhm.
We could say that is not, not to the standard of like Western culture, like American, Canadian, Australian, like how you work, how
Sure.
you guys work. One is the Filipino time.
Mhm.
If we say we have a 9 a.m. meeting, Americans, Canadians, it's like 9 a.m. or even 5 minutes before, they're already
Sure.
there in the meeting room. Filipinos will come in 9:15.
Yeah.
Or
And sometimes even for a job interview.
Yes.
Like you think you'd want to make a great impression with the job interview, but sometimes even late to job interview.
Yeah, and one common reason that they will say, traffic.
Right. And mostly I joke with people like, you didn't know there was traffic in Cebu City? Like
You've been
every
living
day
here.
of the year there's traffic. Yeah.
Yes, but since we're working online, okay, no traffic reason anymore.
Sure.
Another reason, internet connection.
Right.
Internet connection is slow.
Mm.
So that's another thing. But there are ways to remedy that. You could make sure your internet connection is stable, or maybe go to a coffee shop, a quiet coffee shop or co-working space.
Sure.
There are a lot of things to remedy that. But yeah, one problem of Filipinos is the time. Our definition of time.
Yeah.
Like even with friends, if we get together, okay, let's meet at 6. I expect that they will come 7.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and I think it's okay in social settings. People really get it. But both of us, we're living in two different worlds, Filipino and foreigner culture.
Yes.
And when it comes to meetings and things like that,
It's not negotiable.
Yeah, that's how
if
you-
it's 9, it's 9.
that's right.
Yeah. Same with my students. If we meet 9, if they are late with 15 minutes, I will cancel the meeting already.
Yeah.
Because I have a meeting at 9:32. So
Yes.
everything will be moved.
And that's me with job interviews. If people come late, unless there is an amazingly good reason, that's it. The interview's over. You lost
It's
your
a
chance.
red flag. It's a total red flag.
It's a red flag because when I think part of why I struggled when I first came here is I was so quick to give chances. And I just learned the hard way that if it happens once, it will always happen.
The
with
business
that
will
person.
not forget and forgive all these things.
Yeah.
You maybe as a person, but when the business is involved with whatever happens, the
Yes.
business will still run. Should still run.
Yes.
Yes.
So Filipinos, often use this word strict. Mostly we just use that from a parent to their kid. My dad is strict, something like that. But here, people will talk about my boss is strict or this person is strict. And I've had to learn to be a bit more strict, which isn't my natural personality type. But I think work culture here has kind of beat the strict into me. Just out of necessity, I've learned that, I need to kind of adapt to the culture. And sometimes being strict brings out the best in people, and sometimes people leave on the spot because you're too strict. So
Yeah.
I think, as a foreigner, those are some of the things that I've had to learn to navigate over here as well.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you find are really positive about working with Filipinos?
Positive. They're very loyal. Filipinos are very caring, loyal, and they go above and beyond. So they're not like what John mentioned a while ago when we were talking. It's like the best and the worst. There's no in between. Filipinos are not really going to be mediocre because if you see someone doing just, this level of job, later on they will just resign. So if you
Right.
see someone so quiet, it's just a matter of time before they resign. So it's just if you get like the best people, it's really amazing because some of my team members, I call them team members, not employees, they became my friends too. Like I don't see them in person, but when I go to like the islands like Siargao or in Manila, I sometimes meet them. And like it's like a byproduct of my good working relationship with them that they became my friends. Even though the previous agency ended, we get together as friends and all that. And they're really very nice. Like for example, if there are emergencies in the business, even though it's beyond their work hours, they will stay up late with you to help you and everything. They will also like be willing to learn and to really receive proper criticism if they're really good and they really want to improve. Actually, some of my clients, like I've heard stories, they brought their Filipino employees in Canada,
Sure.
US, sponsored their work visa, they're living there. It's really amazing to see Filipinos thrive there.
Absolutely, yeah, and like you mentioned, we were talking about before. That is really it here. I think in Western cultures, employees are mostly good, not necessarily terrible, not necessarily amazing sometimes, but overall good. But here, people are rarely good. They're either great or not so great. So I really am so grateful for our wonderful employees here. But I think a lot of things that you mentioned, like pre-screening and all of those, like for us, we'll have the initial looking at resumes, then they have to get past our HR team.
Yeah.
They get past them, then they have to get past me. So we have a lot of those processes as well. But I find the challenge here is somebody could be perfectly skilled for the job, but they don't have the same kind of expectations of themselves in terms of continuous improvement, showing up on time, really loving our clients, loving the rest of the team, and those type of things. I think is sometimes where I struggle, just making sure that somebody's a great culture fit. And for me, I always tell our team, it just really comes down to caring. I think if people care, they're going to care about each other, care about our clients, care about the company, and of course, the company's job to really love and care for the employees back.
Yes.
Yeah. But what about working with foreigners? What are, let's start off with maybe the challenges, that you've had working with foreigners.
Working with foreigners, most Westerners, you guys are very straightforward. Like if you don't like something, you will say it up front. I'm actually an introvert, so before I'm very sensitive to criticism because I'm not used to confrontations, and all that. So if something is wrong, we need to wait out a little bit before to say it to the person, something like that. Another toxic Filipino behavior is we cannot take confrontations up front. Like we become so sensitive about it. We have this what we call hiya. We become so shy about ourselves. We question ourselves and everything. And working with clients, I need to deal with upfront conversations, with confrontations. If you don't like it, they will say it upfront to you. Some Filipinos cannot take it. I can take it right now. Like I'm already used to it and everything, but at the start it's really challenging.
Sure.
Because some also Westerners, there's this inferiority or superiority complex happening because they know they're from the Western countries, they earn more. Sometimes they see Filipinos like below them.
Sure.
Sometimes. What I try to do as a business owner, as an agency owner, is put my level here. We're talking as a business owners here from different countries with different backgrounds. I'm not below you, you're not above me.
Yeah. So you had to work on changing your perception of yourself.
Yes, it's really an internal work. Like us accepting confrontations, us putting our level out there. Yes, I'm a businesswoman. That's what I teach my students too. Like you're an agency owner. it's an internal work more than the environment, external environment.
Yeah. So it's interesting you mentioned that, because before we were talking about sometimes one of the negatives in Philippine culture is someone might just quit on the spot. You know, there might be a huge deadline due the next day or something. They don't care for whatever reason. They're just gonna, quit, and they're out of there. On the other hand, I've seen, negative about some foreigners is they'll just fire somebody on the spot. Instead of having the patience to give feedback like they would if the person was in their office in America or Australia or wherever.
They can just kick them out.
They'll just kick them out in a moment, fire them, when that person also, likely has a family or bills to pay and all the rest, and they just fire them on the spot. And I do think that sometimes some foreigners don't see Filipinos as human beings with feelings and bills to pay and all the rest as well. So yeah, definitely a challenge as well.
Working with clients is also a very big challenge. Like clients firing the freelancers right away, like without notice. But here in the Philippines, if you're a registered business in the Philippines,
Not
as
that
a foreigner, yes, because we have labor laws. So I also studied labor law.
Yeah.
Like you need to give 30-day notice before you fire someone, and you need to have 2 notices because they need to go through a due process. So it's illegal to fire someone right there and then.
And even trying to fire somebody in 30 days is hard, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, mostly there's a, verbal notice,
Yes,
written
written
warning,
notice.
often first suspension,
They
second
need to
suspension.
reply.
Yes.
Yes.
So there's sometimes it feels like things aren't too organized here sometimes. Love you, Philippines. But Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE as it's called over here, is very organized. But I also have found very fair.
Yes,
so
it's very fair for them to
for
look
both.
for another job also.
Yeah.
To give chances and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just fair.
Yes, and I think also fair towards employers and employees. Sometimes things will go to mediation over here, and my experience in the rare times that's happened is, they really are looking at, what is due process, with, employment over here, and kind of who followed that and who didn't. So you really have to be careful to, kind of follow due process as well. What about good things working with foreigners? Is there any?
There are a lot of good things working with
There you go.
foreigners too. I mean, I've had amazing clients from Canada, US, Australia. They're really amazing. Like, once they trust you, they are very generous, like very, very generous with, even though like working with them, we really don't have the usual benefits of Filipinos like 13th month pay,
Sure.
Christmas bonus, paid holidays. You don't have that working with clients. But they're very understanding. Like later on, even though we have like a full-time work job, they will let us take a break, and everything. Sponsor vacations. Sometimes they go here, spend time with us and everything. Working with clients abroad can be really very caring too. Like what I've said, some freelancers were brought there, sponsored to live in Canada and US, and I think that's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what would you say to, Filipinos that might be watching that want to start a business, but they say, I just don't have the money and I'm not sure if I, have the skills. What would you say to them?
So basically there are lots of clients out there. Imagine how many Filipinos we have, more than 100 Filipinos, and how many of them need jobs. So think of it as if you're providing jobs for Filipinos while earning a lot in dollars, because there are a lot of clients. One client could hire 10 Filipinos, and there's no more than enough agency owners or freelancers that can work for them. So also, to really provide jobs, I think that's one of my main reasons why I've been an agency owner, and also to have financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom, because working in a corporate job forever, I think it's a good, training ground for you to work 2-3 years to get the experience. But working forever in a corporate job with limits in salaries, you cannot really travel this young, discover new places, be active, hike volcanoes and all that. So as young as you can get, don't postpone your life because of your work.
Great advice. Well, Abby, it's been great having you on the challenge. You're really an inspiration. 24 years old. You've accomplished so much. Thanks for making time to talk to us.
Thank you so much, John.
I appreciate it. Well, guys, I will leave some links to some of the things that Abby's involved in below. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Take care.